Dr. Martin, I can't sleep. I'm going crazy. I can't sleep. Sometimes it's the add-on. I'm finishing up refills and making plans for the next visit, and they go, oh, doc, by the way, I haven't had a good night's sleep in about 6 months. Sometimes it's something I ask, and the person just rolls their eyes and says, I gave up. I haven't slept well for a couple decades. I don't think I'm ever going to sleep well. It comes in all different forms and varieties. The number one, science tells us that the number one sleep complaint is going to sleep okay, but waking up too early and not being able to get back to sleep. But there's also, it's pretty common to have trouble getting to sleep, and it's also pretty common to just wake up before you intend to. By the way, for me, if I have to set my alarm earlier than usual to get up, I'm guaranteed to wake up too early. I don't know what it is, but I just know that's going to happen. It's almost like I don't need to set an alarm yet. If you're human, you can relate to the problem sleeping because we all experience it at one time or another. The most common thing people tell me is when they wake up, their mind starts racing. It's not necessarily that a dream woke them up, although it could have been a bad dream. It could be, some kind of physical complaint, pain or something like that. Maybe you got to use the bathroom, maybe thirsty. Maybe you don't know why you woke up. You just woke up. And the mind starts racing. This is a kind of problem that we have. All people have experienced it, but a lot of us haven't learned or figured out or even knew that there was an actual solution for it. And so I simply kind of engage the person in what it is that their mind is racing about and help walk them through a couple of steps. But let me give you an example. Let's pretend it wasn't your mind racing. Let's pretend it was you getting up and going for a walk around the block. By the way, I've had patients tell me that before. They wake up at 1, they can't get back to bed, they go for a walk around the block, and they can't get back to sleep. And my question is have you ever fallen asleep walking around the block? And they always look at me like, no, of course not. And I said, then why would you do that? Why would you do an activity where you literally can't sleep, or that's for sure not going to happen? And after thinking about it, they go, oh, okay, I get it. I get a lot of patients that when their mind starts racing, they get up and go load the dishwasher or do some laundry or go smoke a cigarette on the back porch or any number of other things that are not conducive to sleep. And I just ask them, please stop doing that. If you want to get to sleep, you have to engage in sleep activities. The thinking activity, that's not a sleep activity. One thing I ask people is, hey, if you woke up this morning at 2 o'clock and you started thinking about this doctor's appointment right now, it's 10 o'clock, that would keep you awake, wouldn't it? For sure. Well, could you call me and say, hey, doc, I know our meeting's at 10, but I'm awake now. Can we go ahead and do my appointment? Even if you had my phone number, would you do that? And they were like, no, of course not. Why not? Well, because my appointment's at 10. And I'm like, exactly. You're at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're thinking about something that's not going to happen until later in the day, and it's not appropriate to move that appointment. In other words, if you're doing daytime work in the middle of the night, that's not the appropriate time for that work. Again, people say, yeah, but doc, this stuff comes to my mind. I know, but you have to recognize it for what it is. It's daytime activity. Now, so if we can establish and agree that daytime activity is not appropriate for sleep time, then we can flip the question around and say, what is appropriate for sleep time? What works for that? And when we begin to go through this list, now people start getting it, okay? So walk around the block, doing chores, thinking and preparing for a meeting. These are not nighttime activities. What are nighttime activities? Well, let me tell you one more that's not. Watching things on a screen, all right? And right now, I'm telling you, one of y'all is awake watching YouTube channels and you're watching me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So go to sleep before your body stops working.
So shut her down, dude. This is not the right time for that. Anything on a screen, on your phone, on the television. Anything on a screen is not appropriate for sleep. Even if you doze off sometimes while you're watching it, it's not good sleep. So just shut it down. Come back to this video later and you'll get the rest of it. Don't worry.
Go to sleep, go to sleep. Hush my baby, don't weep.
So no screens. Can you think of a brain activity that's happening while you're asleep? So a lot of people struggle with this because we don't think of it that way, but that's why I worded it as a brain activity. Because dreaming is something that our brain is doing that we can be aware of while we're asleep. Well, how do you apply that to being awake and wanting to be asleep? Well, have you ever had a particular dream that you just loved, that you enjoyed, you were engaged in, it was pleasant or pleasurable, or in some way it was a positive dream? We've all had those. All of us can remember particular dreams that we wish we could have every night. Re-engage that narrative. Close your eyes, and as your brain wants to start worrying or just rolling something over and over, just insert the topic of that dream and actively imagine that dream is continuing. You can make up new stuff. It's fantasy. It's in your head and it's about you. You can make it do whatever you want, but make it pleasurable. Make it relaxing. As you engage something that your body has already generated for you while you are asleep and focus on that, you will go to sleep. If you will practice doing this, you will go to sleep faster and faster. So I would recommend that you come up with 2 or 3 of these dream fantasies that you really enjoy. Another thing you can do is pick your favorite vacation spot. For some people it's the beach, for some people it's the mountains, for some people it's the city. There's lots of places that you can really drop yourself back into. For me, there's a particular national park that I like to go to, and there's a dry riverbed, and it's got the most beautiful view ever, and I put myself right in the middle of that dry riverbed where I've walked many times, and I pick up rocks, and I count them, and I'm asleep after about 4 or 5. So you generate your own personal best place, best experience, best moment, and re-enter that in your mind. As those other thoughts intrude, just gently go, nope, not right now. This is sleep time. This is not working time. I promise you this works because it's all based on normal brain physiology. I'm just simply teaching you how to hack into your body's operating system and use it like it wants to be used. I'm not telling you you're never going to have a sleepless night. There's going to be things that happen that are really upsetting, disturbing, stressful, whatever. What I'm telling you is that if most of your nights you're sleeping adequate to well, then when we have the occasional times where we're not sleeping well, we can handle it. Other things you can do. Science is very clear. Your body likes repetition, repetition, repetition. So every night have about the same 30 to 45 minutes where you're going to bed, and every morning have about the same 30 or 45 minutes that you're getting up. Just do this routinely and regularly. Another thing is make sure the room is the right temperature for you. Now, I'm not going to tell you the temperature it should be. That's a little different for everyone. But science has shown that mid-60s and a little bit lower is the human's sweet spot for sleep. You can have covers on, but it's the ambient environment, mid-60s or lower. Play some noise. Some people play a fan. Personally, I find that's not enough noise. Play some noise in the background that is just monotonous and static. There's lots of apps that you can select your own sound that plays. So pick something and play it. You're going to be very aware of it right at first. But don't worry, your brain will quit focusing on that, but it continues to receive those signals. And monotonous signals are conducive to sleep. So have that playing. When I wake up in the middle of the night, if something has happened and the sound has gone off, I am very aware that there's no sound playing. And that's about the first thing that I fix. So repetition, same time, get rid of the screens, get some air moving, get the right temperature, get some background noise playing, and then train yourself to re-enter previous dreams or to re-enter a favorite type situation or for yourself. As you practice these and you do them every night consistently, and as you lower your reactivity to being awake, like, oh my goodness, here I go again, I'm awake. So just lower that reactivity, practice these things I'm teaching you, and you will sleep better. And people that sleep better manage stress better and make better decisions, which means other health things follow simply from working on your sleep. Send me questions, respond on our YouTube channel. Like, let me know what you're thinking. After decades of doing this, I guarantee you I've heard your question already. And if you haven't heard the answer, then shoot it to me and see what kind of answer I give you. I'll probably give you an answer in a video.